how can I start? I'll start it with this. Like I said, it started with calling a woman crazy, and it's not necessarily that she's crazy. She's speaking up for herself, which brings us to Lilith, the original third party situation. Just for those who might be joining and might not understand third party situation, love triangle. Okay. So you and somebody else and somebody else. That's a third party situation. So Lilith was actually Adam's, according to the story, according to the narrative. And you need this narrative in order for you to stand, understand, and stand in your power to do the next part. Okay. So Lilith was Adam's first wife. Okay. Lilith is known as a demon in Christian lore or Christian circles because of her appearance, the way her attributes, which is ferocious, violent, chaotic, cutthroat. Okay, that's Lilith. That's a very angry woman. That's a woman in her power, in her fire element, but it would be considered very bad in certain instances. It depends on how you look at it. Okay, because everything with this is about perspective. Okay, Lilith was Adam's first wife, and she rebelled. Okay, she rebelled against Adam, and everything that was created in the deep or in the darkness. Okay. So Lilith and Adam, I had this whole vision. Lilith and Adam were silhouettes, and their bodies were the galaxies. In other words, if you see a starry night sky in the summertime, that black starry night sky, in particular, the summertime, that's what I'm getting. Their bodies, that's how they appeared to me in this vision. So they were black. All right. They did not speak because they didn't need to. They had telepathy. They had frequencies. OK, so they didn't have names. They just were energies. He was him and she was her. Right. And so and they were one. They were whole, but they had different functions. OK, so Lilith rebelled. OK, as the story goes, and God, source creator, told her, he didn't kick her out. She left. And that was the difference. Nobody got kicked out of anything. Lilith rose up in her power, and I don't know what happened. That competition that we have between that masculine and feminine energy, because when you have two men together, they clash like rams. They just clash because that's two strong energies, or two protectors, two providers, two of the same thing coming together, right? Because we need that duality. We need that niche, that hook. We need that spot. Okay. Right. So anyway, when you have two of the same things, they clash. Okay. So with that, I just saw something, and I think somebody else did too. Now with that, Lilith rebelled and went her whole own way, right? Now let's bring Eve into the equation. How did Eve come about? We are told in the narrative that Eve came out of Adam's rib when he was put to what? Sleep, right? Lilith was not coming out of anything, because she was already one. She was God. She was already created. She didn't need to come out of anything. She is to come. So, but because she rebelled, something had to be created that was more suited to what help. Okay. So now we have these two different women. We have one that says, for purposes of our conversation, and I got to use my daddy, my tank is here. So I have to say this to illustrate my point. Eve represents, baby, you hungry? Baby, how long before you get here? Because I'm going to run your bathwater. Now, if I'm already offending you, then that's most of the problem. But I will say with the healing that's necessary. But what I will say is, I am all for femininity. I am all for softness and kindness. It suits me. It suits us. We'll talk about a little of that more later. But I love to serve. The feminine energy, she not only gives, she receives, but she serves. The feminine energy is welcoming. She's nurturing. So that means she's soft. That means she's accommodating. If you see any of those attributes as weakness, then that is the problem, right? That when I say problem, I mean that is the challenge that you have with your relationships. Okay. And so we have to hear this, and we have to understand it for what it is, and like internalize it and say, okay. So anyway, and let it be what it is. And that way we can get rid of it. When we see it and hear it, we'll go, okay, that's what that is. Thanks. Some of us just needed a clue, and it's like, why didn't you say so in the first place? Because we weren't ready to listen. When the student is ready, the teacher arrives, right? So anyway, So you have Eve with her softness saying, baby, how long before you get here? I want to run your bath order. Don't forget, I'm cutting your toenails tonight. The kids are in bed and, I'm waiting for you. Ooh, at the door, with your slippers. Okay, that's Eve energy. Lilith she represents the fuck. You know what I mean? She represents, you have two hands. She represents, why don't you get up off the couch and get a job? She represents, Hopper, who this woman? That's Lilith. And she gets called crazy a lot. She gets called crazy. Because, why? Because she speaks her truth unapologetically and she's not scared to hurl something across the room at you. Like I said, I listen and I don't judge, but Eve would not do, she's not going to throw the lamp because usually it's her mother's heirloom or something and she's not going to throw her lamp. She's not going to break a glass because she has a 4-glass set and it's her glass set. And how would she set her table without, she ain't throwing things, but Lilith does not care because Lilith is like, I will tear all this down and then I'll build it up again with me. Okay. Now, what does that have to do with the, I can't say it. Yes. Anyway, but Lilith, let me go back. Lilith stands in her power and she speaks her truth and she might have to cuss a few folk out. Like I said, Lilith is the fuck. Lilith is, we said we had a party of 8 and we were going to be here at 2:30. Now, that table, Lilith goes to that table over there and tells the people, y'all got to get up. I don't care. Just move, get up. Tyrone, y'all come over here. Y'all got to go because we need these tables. That's Lilith energy. Again, not judging it, just saying sometimes you need a little Lilith. So Lilith decided she wasn't going to stay in the Garden of Eden. Lilith decided she was going to, set up camp somewhere else. Clearly she met, something happened. She was God. She had the womb. So she just recreated herself. She birthed herself. And then, okay. You know what I'm saying? Because she was already whole. So instead of having her rib, she just birthed her counterpart, her divine masculine. Okay. That's why you can be mother and whore. You know what I'm saying? That's why you can be, womb on my breast. And then the same breast can be like, You see what I'm saying? Because that's how we're built when we are in balance. And because most of the shadow is hiding Lilith in the closet. Most of the shadow is hiding Lilith and being ashamed of Lilith and not using Lilith. That makes us out of balance. But then Lilith is over here feeling guilty for being Lilith. Why? Because people told her she can't be Lilith. So Lilith spends a lot of time wishing she could be soft, but she's so afraid to be her. And because all she knows is this. You know what I'm saying? Because all she knows is I have to be free. It's always, feminine energy is expansive. We literally birth. We literally have a womb that carries and recreates life. You know what I mean? So it is unnatural for us to be barren. It is unnatural. Infertility is unnatural in whether it's spiritual or natural. It's unnatural for us not to move. It's unnatural for us not to evolve. What does that have to do with Adam choosing between two women? Well, the beauty of the balance is you have a woman. Let me go right to my journal because I said it best when I wrote it. A man wants a mixture or balance of the Lilith and the Eve energy. Soft enough to be a safe space for his head, yet hard enough to support and defend him if his back is against the wall. You see? So I need that Lilith every now and again. Okay? But I also need Eve to tell me when my friends aren't really my friends. I also need Eve to make me a great meal so that I can sleep real good at night. So when I go out and face the world. Now, don't get mad at me if you're not a cook. That's between you and God. But I'm saying what we need as functional partners, masculine energy and feminine energy. It just is what it is. And if you don't believe me, then try it. Try the thing that you've been avoiding and see if not only you change, but your relationships change. Okay? Because there must be a balance. All right. And so what we need to do as a collective is not vilify Lilith. OK, and learn how to love Lilith, because when Lilith is loved and nurtured and supported, and we'll talk about this masculine energy in a minute, that God energy, because Lilith is angry because she doesn't have God. She doesn't have a connection to spirit. She doesn't feel protected or provided for or secure or safe. So she has to stand up for herself. That's why she rebelled, because somebody wasn't doing something. OK, and they were clashing. See, he was supposed to be doing that, but he probably didn't move until she moved, okay? And she didn't move because he was moving. She moved because he was not moving. You know what I'm saying? So that balance needs to be there. She wanted to do this and he wanted to do that. You know what I mean? So she left, whatever that means, all right? But the point is, you have to love on her, because when Lilith feels secure and safe, then she evolves to Eve. And when Eve is protecting and defending what she knows is right, whether it's her career, her reputation, her love, her children, her family, when you press Eve's buttons, which are the things that she loves and nurtures and cares for, how? Because she cultivated it with her hands. Eve is the mother. She birthed these things. These are all her babies. It doesn't matter who you are. You are a part of her. It doesn't matter what it is. It is a part of her because she put her hands on it. She puts her love into it, right? So Eve becomes Lilith when you mess with that thing, okay? So that beautiful balance, right? That's the wholeness. That is a whole woman. That is a healed woman who is not ashamed of her darkness. Her darkness meaning her protective, fierce energy. Okay? That's the goddess. And God has that protective, fierce energy, but it just functions in a different way. It's more outward. And Lilith, she clothes, that's the mask. She clothes herself in that masculine energy because she feels like she needs it to protect her. But Eve is what? Open and vulnerable and what? Naked and unashamed. You know why? Because Eve feels safe because she knows how to worship her God. Now let's talk about the God. See, Eve is safe. Eve is secure and soft and sweet. And she walks around with, butterflies flying in her hair, or roses, tucked behind her ears, or, rosy lips, or smelling all like, not champa or something. You know what I'm saying? She's just amazing. Come on. Right? Because she worships her God, her husband, her counterpart. He protects her. He provides for her. He makes he makes her safe. And her sanctuary, which is her, she realizes that she is the temple that he wants to come into to worship. And she makes sure that her temple is welcoming. You know what I'm saying? That's that beautiful balance. And that's that beautiful. And her intuition informs the divine masculine energy, which can now flourish because of the trust and the balance between them. You know what I'm saying? So we have to learn how to dance one another. Like we said earlier, it's not crazy. It's misunderstood. You know what I'm saying? It's not crazy because what somebody else is, I'm finally speaking my truth, is for somebody that says that person is just, she's too chaotic. It's not that. She's too chaotic. I would dare say we have to check ourselves. And then let's go to we attract who we are. If we want to touch that a little bit. But no, let me leave that alone for a second to finish this. Let me close this up. Let me close this part up because we don't want to talk about we're attracted to who we are this point right here is to balance that energy and love on it. And because when you balance that energy, you will recognize each other by frequency. You know what I mean? You will recognize your God and goddess. You will recognize your counterpart by the frequency. It doesn't matter what happens. Because stuff does happen, if y'all believe or whether you ascribe to past lives, I know it as a truth for me, but there's past life energy, like you're living in all these multi-layers and multi-dimensions. So you got to be able to stick and move, baby. You got to be able to forgive and forget, right? And that's why I'm giving this narrative of Lilith, because the original third-party situation was Adam needed both of those. He needed both of those aspects of those women. And so in this present now, if you are the other woman or the mistress or the side piece or the main, whatever it looks like, if it's you and two other people, a man with two women, then it's difficult to make that decision. And as a woman, as the feminine energy, with using all of your feminine intuition, the Hebrew word is binah. I almost wanted to go into a tongue. Because the feminine intuition, which is called Bana, we got a double portion of it as a woman, right? And so your intuition needs to be informed now. You're ready to learn this. You have expanded your horizons, and your thirst has brought you to this moment. Listen to this message right now, because you are able to hear that of course it's difficult. Because there's not a balance. You know what I'm saying? He might have the fierceness of the ferocity needed in one and the softness in you. You know what I mean? So you got to balance that energy, and you have to stop being ashamed when your Lilith arises, even with him. You cannot be ashamed of that, because you have to trust that balance. We recognize one another. We are moving and flowing with one another. That energy needs to move and flow. You have to have that push and pull in order for you to find that balance, not only within yourself, but within each other. So you do it a disservice when you squash your fire, when you try to quench your fire because you think you're not going to lose anything. Remember, you are the mother of it all. That's your daddy, your brother, your uncle, and your son, all wrapped up in one. It's the masculine energy. That's what I'm saying. See it as an energy, and you can love it. You can see it objectively and see it as an energy. Why did I say that? Right, because it'll help us understand as a woman. It's not even about what we bring. It's not even about a competition. There should be no competition. It should only be compassion and understanding. That's all it should be. Compassion and understanding. No competition between feminine energies. You know what I mean? Remember, either you are Lilith or you are Eve. You have to figure out which one you are with this person. What facet of you does this person bring out consistently? Because when you understand the balance that you need to have in yourself, then you will understand why that person does what they do for you. That's what it means when you say you let go of things that no longer serve you. So if you have somebody constantly keeping you in your Lilith energy, then that doesn't feel good. Have somebody that brings you into balance. Somebody that can understand, because a God is discerning. A God can understand how to navigate those storms, the storms of your life, the storms of your emotions. And this is what we're looking for in partners. So when you don't have that in either woman, then you teeter-totter. You don't know what you want because you're waiting for one or both of them to come into balance. Because at the end of the day, we will actually find where we fit. We would actually find who we belong with if we but trust that we need to come into balance within ourselves first. That's how we do that. But you have to love all the parts of you, because that person is going to reflect those. They're going to bring out that thing in you that you are ashamed of. That is the design of it. That's what makes love unconditional. I see you flaws and all, and yet I still want you. And here's an even mwah. I see you flaws and all, and it is your flaws that I want to love even more. Because a healed person or a balanced person will recognize those so-called flaws and want to love them, want to love on them, want to pour on them. And that's why you have to give compassion when somebody is torn between a choice. It's a reason for that. They are looking for something. And it does us a disservice to rush that process, because they have to find it for themselves. Because if they don't find it for themselves, they cannot find it for you or in you. Sanctuary. They're looking for a safe space to lay their head. God needs a sanctuary that's clean and pure. God needs a sanctuary that's clean and pure. A place to set up a bed and a lampstand and to put my, you know what I'm saying? I need to move into a clean space. That's that Eve energy. Lilith energy is demonized because it seems like she's polluted, but she's only polluted with the love that she is not getting or receiving. She's only polluted because something has contaminated her ability to create the love that she is. You know what I'm saying? Something has contaminated her ability to create the love that she is, because she let something in that dirted her up. What? It's not supporting you. It's not helping you. It's hurting you, but you won't let it go. That's what I'm saying. So you have to rise up. Maybe if she gets angry enough, she'll do something. This is really the design of it. You know, we're just using the narrative of Adam and Eve. That's all. We're just using that narrative. But I'm saying we can just take it up a notch and say, once you realize what you want, when you start to really think about you are creating or manifesting yourself, you are actually manifesting you. I'm in love with me. And we call it, Narcissus. Look up Narcissus, the mythology, the Greek mythology of that just gazing. It's something very powerful about loving yourself, because you can fall in love with yourself in another person. That is that God energy. I recognize you because you were made for me, literally. You see what I'm saying? So you've got to already think your soulmate, Your soulmate, the one that your heart loves, is already wrapped up in your reflection. It's in here. It's in here. So you don't have to be mad about somebody in this natural. It's no choice. It's never been has nothing to do with choosing between you and another person. It's the energy. It's the energy. Balance your energy and your life will change. Not just everything changes. Your relationships, that's sacral chakra energy. That's what's been blocked. Unbalanced energy. Balance Lilith by loving her. Embrace Eve by becoming her most of the time. Lilith is I just want to draw back and go, you know what I'm saying? That's what Lilith is. I don't know why I'm doing that. Don't nobody do that no more. That's like, I don't know why I went Charlie's Angels all of a sudden. You know, how can I put it? One time, I unloaded on my entire family. Well, many members of my family. All my stuff. I was provoked. I plead the fifth, no. But anyway, I remember my dad was outside when all this was happening. And the little girl was like, you cannot talk like this in front of your daddy. Like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? But the woman in me, Lilith, was like, listen, Linda, right? So I said what I said. And then my dad, I saw out of the corner of my eye, my dad coming from the patio into the house. And again, my little me was like, oh, I'm about to get it. But he comes in and he says, hey, lower your voice now. You can do all that cussing, but just lower your voice so the neighbors don't hear what you're saying. And he just walks back outside, sits at the table, smokes a cigarette. And I was like, clear, and obviously I was done. I said what I said. I was done with what I had to say because it was like, I don't know if spirit used him to diffuse a situation or whatever, but it was like, I don't even care what you're saying. I just lower your voice a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Just, so the neighbors don't hear. And I know it was kind of a joke too. Like that's what he was so, his comedy was, you know what I'm saying? I miss my dad, his physical presence, but like I said, he is all around me and within me, but I digress. Let me finish up this thing. Was this good to y'all?